Hello and welcome to episode 3 of this series of videos called Time to Write with me, author Tim Heath. So this is now 1 week into the experiment, and for those that have been following so far, I launched myself under a new pen name which is remaining quiet for the moment. And with the question is, can I, how hard is it to launch a new author nowadays? So I'm kind of putting everything I've learned over the last 5 years as a novelist into practice, and put together a short story series which will have 8 books out in the first run, and going to try and hit them every 3 weeks into the market and see how it goes. So, and how does it track against where I'm at? So we're 1 week into it. So in the last video I had literally just gone live, nothing had happened at that point. I think when the video went out I didn't even have, it wasn't even live on Amazon. So I just want to talk over this last week. We'll talk comparisons in terms of what happened with me 5 years ago, or just over 5 years ago, with my very first novel, and also where we're at. And also I want to say on these videos, if you have a question, if there's something I don't cover, something you just want to check, do leave it as a comment. And what I will do, obviously, I will answer that question in the next video that I do after I see the comments. So obviously, if you're watching these in the future, so you're not watching them week by week, obviously look out for the one that I put out that week, where I'll answer your question. So it might not be in the next, if you're watching this in 3 months' time and you have a comment, obviously I will be a few episodes on by then. But yeah, hopefully I'll pick up on your question at some point. So catch you up on your timeline. It's the Friday the 13th. I'm not a superstitious person, so that's good. So I clicked live. I'll click publish on the 4th of October. I think that's when my last video went out. So the book's been out for a week, and what I had done is put the first one on Amazon, exclusive on Amazon, and it's in the KDP, it's in the Kindle Unlimited option as well for book 1, and there's a link at the back of book 2, link at the back of book 1 in order to get book 2 free. And this is, I'm testing it for the first couple of months as a mailing list sign up to see how it gets on. So in terms of sales, I was just looking back under my author name. It does it month by month historically, so it's a little bit harder to see the first week. But having said that, I published my very first novel, Cherry Picking, the last week of June. So actually there is a bit of crossover, and I'm only going to compare ebooks because all my books are paper books, but this new series is only ebook. So I'm going to compare ebook for ebook, just because, certainly from what I've seen in my readership, people stick to one format. So those that buy my paper books always buy the paper books, and those that buy the ebooks always buy the ebook. So I think that's fair enough. So the first thing that happened when I went live on that 4th/5th of October is very little. I got that feeling again, as a new author would, of like how hard it is to kind of get noticed and all that. I remember at this point, even though I have a readership of thousands and social media followers of 20 plus 25,000, I'm not at the moment, for the sake of this experiment, mention it to them. I'm not putting it out there in that sense, just to give it a good comparison. So in the same way as it had for me some time ago, very little happened. There was one sale on the 5th, and so that was a purchase of the book, and as far as I see, I can't tell where that came from. What I did do on the 6th is I had some of my advanced readers for my novels, I've asked to put some reviews up, so that was happening. The purchase on the 5th wasn't one of those, because none of the reviews had a verified status. So, but what that led to is on the 6th I realised just as I had done 5 years ago. As a new author, you don't have a mailing list, you don't have a following on any page, but you do have friends on Facebook. So I had shared it with those as a friend saying, this is something I'm doing. So that did produce like a number of sales for low digits on the 6th, and then the 7th, again a little tail off. So comparatively speaking, I'm the same as I did 5 years ago. Same number, just a little bit more for this new series. Possibly just because within my friendship circles, I do have some people that have become readers, so they trust in that. So like for like sales are similar. We're only talking handful, single digits. So comparative like that. The interesting thing with Kindle Unlimited, and obviously at this stage I've not done any advertising, is I did have on the 11th, so a couple of days ago, I did have 9 pages read, which is interesting. Have they started it? Is that the first chapter and they've paused? Have they gone off it? I mean, it's hard to say. There have been no new reviews recently. And so I don't know where that stands. Other general comments is, and I think this is, as we go through this experiment in a few weeks' time, probably with a few books, I'm going to try some different things with marketing, both on Facebook and with AMS ads. So that's advertising directly on Amazon, just to see those kind of techniques and those little tweaks, what impact it has on sales. So I'll definitely cover that in a few weeks' time, and as well as when I get most of the series out, I'll be going very strong on the special promotions that you can do when you are exclusive on Amazon. So like the 3 or 5 day periods where it's reduced price or free. And I'm definitely going to go big on that, and I will talk that strategy through completely in time. So in terms of where we stand, it's also one thing, looking at the sales, one thing that hasn't yet happened, which is interesting. So those, the half dozen sales that I had when I presume when I mentioned it to my personal friends on my Facebook profile, looking at so obviously, knowing there's a link at the back, these readers most probably haven't yet finished the book. It's only a short book, but because they're basically novellas, all of them, this whole series, the episodes. They either haven't finished it, probably that, or they don't like the idea of signing up to a mailing list, because none of them have activated the link to get the second book, which I find interesting. Maybe a question, maybe something that comes to mind through this course. One of my understandings will be that readers are starting to switch off to the idea of mailing lists. Now that's been something that's floated around in my mind. Obviously as authors we definitely know the value of mailing lists. I guess one of the questions is, have we got to the point where so many authors are doing that readers are less engaged in reading emails that they get into their inbox from authors than they were? So I don't know the answer to that one yet. We'll see. As I said, for the first few books, I'm going to keep the link in the back as a free copy of the second book, which is not on Amazon. And by about book 5, I will put the second book on Amazon, and I'm going to put together something separate, a separate giveaway in order to sign up. So, and also, no follow up, no crossover into a Facebook page that I've set up. So we're seeing, it's early days, a week in, not a lot of comparison in terms of royalties. I'm looking back, quite stunned actually, when with my first novel, I put it up at pretty much full price. So the royalties are much better then, which was fascinating example. Obviously that was the full-length novel anyway. These are shorter things. So money-wise, I earned more in my first week as a first-time author 5 years ago than I did with the short. So, but we'll see. The plan is that these books will. My next one will come out in a week or so, so that'll be 3 up, and then we'll take it from there. So that's it for this update. There's nothing more I want to say. I'm definitely in a zone where it kind of feels like nothing's happening unless I market, and I think marketing will have to become a key strategy going forward in future weeks. So I'll leave this episode now and get this uploaded onto YouTube, and I'll come back in the future with what happens next. Okay, bye.